It's time for the Princess Peach Showtime review for the Nintendo Switch. My first impressions of this game when I saw it via Nintendo's Direct was mildly interested at best. However, since I've now played it, does it deserve a standing ovation, or does it suffer from stage fright? Let's find out. The story begins with Peach seen walking outside near her castle. A toad slave, or servant, brings her a flyer showcasing an invite to a grand theater. Upon arriving at said theater, a mysterious villain shows up and uses her dark magic to capture all the different plays, disrupting their regular acts. A sparkle sprite named Stella encounters Peach and pleads for her help, and so it's up to you to restore the plays and save the theater. The game directs you to first attend the Sword Fighter play, where you learn the basics and mechanics of the game. As you begin, you'll start out as normal Peach, but you have the ability to use sparkle power to help restore characters and elements of each play. When you do so, you'll be rewarded with coins or even progress the level. Eventually, you'll encounter the play's protagonist Sparkle, more or less their essence, which allows Peach to transform into the main character herself. With this level, Peach transforms into Sword Fighter Peach, which changes her costume and gives her a unique ability depending on what role she's taken on. The theater has 5 floors with 4 different plays on each floor, so there are 20 different plays. Hooray for math! As I just mentioned, Peach will don a new costume and gain a new ability to fit the theme of the play. Like in the Western, Peach plays a cowgirl who rustles up some no-good varmints. Not all plays have Peach defeating enemies with combat. In the bakery-themed play, Peach becomes a patisserie and bakes craveable cookies and decorates colorful cakes. Or like with Detective Peach, she has to solve various mysteries to reach the end of the play. Coins aren't the only collectibles you'll find throughout each level. Sparkle gems are the main item you'll want to find, as a minimum amount is required to unlock the next floors of the theater. Most sparkle gems are rewarded to you if you can complete specific tasks in regards to the main goal of each level. The levels are not difficult to complete, but knowing how to obtain each sparkle gem, especially your first time playing, is not always easy. The game takes a page from the original Super Mario Bros. And doesn't let you backtrack in most places. The aesthetics of each level is built like a stage. Super charming, however it's not just for looks. Each area is a theater stage. It's not like actors in a play go back to re-perform previous acts, so in the same way, you cannot backtrack. This makes it so some collectibles are only obtainable in a one-shot scenario. If you miss the first time, that's it. Fortunately, most levels should only take on average, 15 minutes to complete. This makes it so the punishment for missing a collectible isn't that severe, as it shouldn't take you long to obtain it on re-attempts. Having each level be quite short has its benefits in terms of replayability, but ultimately, they're just too short. Seriously, a 15-minute average? It took me about 8 hours to complete the entire game. The lack of quantity is somewhat made up for the overall quality of each level, but for a $60 game, I would expect a minimum double amount of content than what we got. The graphics look great and have that distinct Mario style we all love. I can't help but really like the aesthetics of each level, such as how many stage elements look like cardboard cutouts, or how some enemies are connected by wires from up top. At the end of each level, Peach thanks her audience while confetti falls everywhere. It's just so charming. The controls are very basic, and there's not much to say here, as almost all the levels are platformers. Using each of Peach's special abilities is fun and not difficult. Some of my favorite Peach characters are Figure Skating Peach, Mighty Peach, and Detective Peach. These were the only levels to go pretty long compared to the rest, and I wish there were more of them, as they were quite fun to figure out. The boss fights were somewhat challenging, but nothing to sweat over. Some boss fights were actually level sequences you had to perform perfectly, which was a nice change. There's nothing inherently wrong with this game, other than it being too short to justify a $60 price tag, and a questionable frame rate at times, which just blows my mind for a game like this, but it's definitely geared towards a younger audience. If you're a hardcore gamer, you're probably not going to have too much interest in it, but that's okay. You're not the main demographic. It feels like this game is a step or two up from the cozy game genre. It's great for those who want a charming, simple game, or especially parents wanting a game they can experience together with their kids. If the levels were longer and/or Peach obtained more abilities in each level, it would be a better game overall. But for what it is, it's a fine game, especially for the main demographic of players it's meant for. This game gets a 3.5 out of 5 with a title of...